this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
It's cozy season, and nothing compares to wrapping yourself in a Minky Couture blanket. Luxuriously soft, perfectly warm, thoughtfully made. From movie nights to chilly mornings, Minky Couture turns everyday moments into pure comfort. Once you feel it, you'll understand why it's called the original best blanket ever. Visit minkycouture.com or a store near you and make this cozy season your softest one yet.
Imagine an Olympics where doping is not only legal, but encouraged. It's the enhanced games. Some call it grotesque. Others say it's unleashing human potential. Either way, the podcast Superhuman documented it all, embedded in the games and with the athletes for a full year.
Within probably 10 days, I'd put on 10 pounds. I was having trouble stopping the muscle growth.
Listen to Superhuman on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
On the Look Back at It podcast.
In 1979, that was a big moment for me.
84 was big to me.
I'm Sam J.
And I'm Alex English.
Each episode, we pick a year, unpack what went down, and try to make sense of how we survived it with our friends, fellow comedians, and favorite authors. Like Mark Lamont Hill on the 80s.
84 was a wild,
it was a wild year.
Yeah. I don't think there's a more important year for Black people.
Listen to Look Back at It on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
In 2023, Bachelor star Clayton Echard was accused of fathering twins, but the pregnancy appeared to be a hoax.
You doctored this particular test twice, Ms. Owens, correct?
I doctored the test once.
It took an army of internet detectives to uncover a disturbing pattern. Two more men who'd been through the same thing.
Greg Gillespie and Michael Mancini.
My mind was blown.
I'm Stephanie Young. This is Love Trapped.
Laura, Scottsdale Police.
As the season continues, Laura Owens finally faces consequences. Listen to Love Trapped podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
One of the things that I invite my clients to do is to sit with the discomfort of disappointing people.
Welcome to the Black Mother Wound Podcast, a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network and iHeartRadio, where we center the stories of Black women as we heal from the painful relationships with our mothers. Welcome to the Black Mother Wound Podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Arnice. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to season 3 of the Black Mother Wound Podcast. And guess what? We have a guest today, and I'm very excited. She's someone that I have been, semi-stalking in a very safe way on IG. And I love the way she digs down into this topic and her perspective and her accent. I love her accent, but y'all gonna hear it in a little while. So today we have Dorcas Opoku. She is a Black British Ghanaian integrative psychotherapeutic counselor based in London. And she supports professionals, high achieving men and women, and young people who are tired of performing, people pleasing, and holding everything together. Y'all know we tired of that too. And they want therapy and solutions that go deeper than just than managing their symptoms. Dorcas brings a trauma-informed, culturally attuned lens shaped by her background in law, family and child protection. And she's brought that to her work now as a psychotherapist. She's based in London and offers online and telephone therapy. Welcome, Dorcas.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. And that was such a beautiful, beautiful introduction. I have also been following your work. I mentioned earlier that in our early conversations that I have seen the space that you've created for a demographic, a group of women that I, as a therapist, have worked with and need this support space. And so I'm just so grateful to be able to be on this podcast today to also share my insights and to work alongside you.
Well, this is awesome because I think we need more people having this conversation. I don't want to be the only person having the conversation. I may not be the person with the message for everybody, but I want everybody to get the message. So that's why what I love about this season is I want to bring other women in who are talking about this from different perspectives and different expertise, so we can build that community of resources in a really well-rounded way. I think that is very, very important, because I'm tired of this being taboo. I'm tired of us talking about our mothers being taboo and people thinking they're the only ones and not knowing where to go or how to perceive their experiences, you know?
Yeah.
So this is awesome. So I'm glad that you're here. So,
thank you.
Okay, so let's get started. So first I want to know, because I'm somebody who has pivoted in life. And so how did you go from being in law to being a psychotherapist? That I'm just that's just for my own interest.
Okay, fundamentally, I have the right to change my mind.
Hello.
So the more I leaned into the very things that I was drawn to, my own expertise, my own curiosity, the more I discovered myself, I realized very quickly I have a heart for people. And the way that I want to engage with them is relationally and emotionally. So when I was in law, there was a time whereby I was working on an extensive child abuse sexual inquiry. And I remember reading the document so closely and wanting to speak to the people, wanting to have that conversation, wanting to be the ones to really make sense of the pain that they were experiencing and how they could move forward. Yes, I was providing them with justice in one way, but I remember having that deep calling within my heart that I want to be on the other side, supporting them differently. And that's when in the pandemic, I decided, you know what, Dorcas, you have the right to change your mind. And fundamentally, I want to live a life that is in alignment with my highest values, to be purposeful and to be impactful. And that's when I went to go and further my studies and pursue becoming a psychotherapist. So that was what led to my pivot.
I love that, because I have lived many lives. And I always like to hear that. And I love that just you saying that to people, you have a right to change your mind, because in this community, a lot of us didn't get the opportunity to choose.
No.
Right. So that authority, just seeing that modeled, is always good for us. So thank you for sharing that. And so when I found you on Instagram, you were talking about parentified children, of which I am one, of which many Black women are, who have a mother wound. Like, there are different ways the mother wound impacts us, but I feel in the Black community, many of us are born from the strong Black mother. And creates that parentified child in us based off of the circumstances of her life and her own life experiences before we even came to be. Right. Mm-hmm. So what about parentified children and seeing that? What made you want to talk more about that?
Yeah. So when I pivoted from law, I started to work within the realm of social care. And when I was working with families, one thing that I was identifying as a repetitive theme, particularly with ethnic minorities, was that the children were being given roles that were beyond their developmental capacity. They were given adult responsibilities, emotional burdens, financial burdens outside of their developmental capacity. And it was a consistent theme. And it meant that they would confuse, as they adulted on their journey or as they grew, they would confuse their exhaustion with purpose. They were so used to being the fixers within their home. They believed that they were so mature for their age, but there were areas in which they were still arrested in their emotional development. They were still looking for that sense of comfort, love. But on the outside, they seem very put together. And so when I started to go into practice, this was another consistent theme that I was seeing, not just with mother-daughters from like the child being pretty young or just a teenager, but now with the adult version of the parentified child. And they are starting to do life, but they are still struggling in so many areas. So They will be successful in so many different departments of their life, maybe with work. They're really ambitious, they're striving, but emotionally, they never felt good enough. You will speak to them and it's like, wait, I can't tell what part I'm speaking to. There is an element of the inner child that is crying out to be seen, but then there's also this lack of vulnerability that is being exposed because they had to do it themselves. So as time grew on in my practice, it was something that I was seeing that many people aren't discussing enough, but it's very much a shared experience.
Yeah, I think it's so. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I just wanted to address it. Really.
I think nobody talks about it because it's so normal. Like we have redefined it as something positive. So it's like, well, what's there to talk about? And so I have a question, because as I understand being in that space of wanting to be cared for, seen, and nurtured, but not feeling safe enough to be vulnerable, and having been raised to armor up, and that sliver in the middle where we live, it's like between a rock and a hard place. Tell me about what your client goes through when they're stuck in that hard place, where it's like something they need so much, but it's like almost being oblivious to it even ever being an option. Even though it's an option, we don't even know it's something. So we don't even think there is another way. And that makes us very constricted in how we proceed with life, not even knowing that we're missing something. Speak to me about you seeing that and how that is showing up in their life, and what you say to that.
Okay, it shows up as existential loneliness. So they go through life believing that no one really has their back. They can have a bunch of friends. My clients can have a bunch of friends. They could have their community, their chosen tribe now. I'm not with my family. I've created but they never truly feel like they will ever be prioritized, because their anchoring bias is the familial dynamic, what they were exposed to. If your blood can't show love for you, if your blood can't be emotionally attuned to you, if your blood isn't there when you need them the most, who truly will be? So there is this quiet, persistent loneliness that they carry on throughout their lives. Sometimes it shows up as people pleasing. Love is a mountain that I have to climb. I cannot just exist and be and have somebody love me. I have to be on the stairmaster, always struggling and striving for somebody to see me. And so in the midst of them being, that there being a desire for closeness and them desiring to be vulnerable, there is a hesitation. Even when the love comes, can I trust it? Will it last? Love is something that is fleeting. They can't hold on to the love that is pouring their way, because really and truly, they were never given that framework. So there is always this kind of struggle with, I am going to position myself as somebody who is helpful because I can guarantee that I will be needed.
Useful. My value is in what I provide.
Useful. Yes, I can guarantee. And then through that, I know that you won't abandon me, because there's also a deep abandonment wound. So you're doing all of the stuff in your relationship. You're carrying the relationships in your life. There's a difficulty experiencing mutuality and reciprocity in your dynamics. You don't even know what that looks like.
Listen, what is the breakthrough moment? When do they, because what I hear from like my students and clients is like, well, nobody has been there for me. They haven't been. Like they present this evidence that no one has been there for me, because they find people out in the world who are like their family. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, it is true. How do you get them to see that different? That is, there are people who will love you. And it really, I always say, it doesn't matter who loves you. We want it to
Yeah.
come from our mother. And we think if it doesn't come from her, then it won't matter.
And this is why we don't see it. This is why we don't see it in the first place. I think the breakthrough moment is when first, and it really depends on the client and their journey. But I think for a lot of people, they make that decision when they've had enough of living a subpar life. And they realize, wait, love has been available to so many other people. It cannot just be me. Why do I have to internalize that I am the one that cannot experience a loving relationship? So there comes a point where you sit with yourself. Some people go through that journey when they have their own children. And it makes them think about their experiences and what they want to offer and what they want to create, the ecosystem of love that they want to create around them and their child. For some people, it's also just deciding, okay, I'm just going to try therapy. And as they are removing the layers, they start to realize that a part of the reason why love is inaccessible to them is because they haven't built a loving relationship with themselves. You're waiting on people to provide you with that experience, but you have yet to create that experience for yourself. How do you honor your values? How do you live a life that is in allegiance to your highest values? How do you invite self-care? What kind of conversations do you invite around you? What's the narrative that you uphold in your life? Is your speech negative? Is your speech positive? What are you speaking into existence? That is when really and truly people start to have to engage with that reflection that actually a part of the reason why love can't be invited here is because I haven't built a framework for myself.
Yes. All I can say is yes. Because for me, I was at the end of my rope. And I always use this example. I don't know if in London, do y'all have screen porches? Not screen porches, a screen door. Like we have a front door, but then especially when you live in the South, you have a second door and it's just a screen. So you can leave your front door open. But so like,
yes,
like
we have
flies and bugs don't come in. So you have a screen door, but you can see through it. And I was raised in the country. So I was raised with the screen door. And I always look at my separateness as it's like this screen. There's like everybody on the other side. They can have love. They can have what they want. They can move through life. They can have success. They can have peace, happiness. But I can't. It looks like I can, but there's this screen that I can smell it. I can hear it. I can see it. But when I reach out, the resistance of the screen is there. And for me, that screen was shame. And things only changed when I risked, like, let me see if people will love me, if they actually saw me. But I had to make the first move. And oftentimes we want to know something is going to be right. We want to know it's going to work before we do it.
Because because the thing is that the parentified child is also so used to unpredictability. The environment, the emotional climate of the environment that you grew up in was unpredictable. So you use the elements of control that you have learned in different ways.
Yes.
And one of that is managing you actually becoming hurt again.
Yeah.
So this is the struggle. There's all this self-protection, but in survival you don't thrive.
And sometimes there's not even someone coming to get us. I always say it's like you're boxing with a shadow. So like imagine walking, like we've seen people on the street talking to themselves and having a
Oh
full
yeah.
out conversation. It's real to them, but from the outside looking in, we're like, oh, they look crazy. And that's what I had to kind of remind myself, like, Jennifer, you're boxing a ghost. You're fighting a ghost, but you think it's actually happening. But from the outside, you are the problem because nothing actually is there. And you have to really create a new framework, like a new programming.
Yes. Brick by brick. Because you don't have the template. But you have to bear in mind, when you felt the desire for comfort, reassurance, we are naturally social creatures as children, right? As humans. But as a child, you have that natural craving for comfort, reassurance, love, validation. When you go to a parent who is emotionally immature, who lacks capacity, you're met with dismissal. You're met with minimization. You're met with emotional absence. So then you start to internalize, wait, maybe I have too many feelings. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I need to just manage myself. So we start to internalize that self-abandonment is what helps us maintain connection. And that's the piece of that's the shame. The natural desire that you have for comfort is then that's where the shame comes in, because it's not met with love. It's not met with warmth. It's not met with validation. So something must be wrong about me. Something must be wrong about my emotional
I'm broken.
world. I am the
I
broken
am broken
one.
and I can't be fixed. I had
Yes.
to live the rest of my life like this. And no one
Yes.
else understands because no one else has ever been through it. So maybe, what if I'm crazy? Well, am I making up what happened? Like all of this is like swirling around like a cyclone in our minds until you step out. And for me, doing this podcast, doing this work, I want to give an example of like always tell them you're not going to die. It feels like you're going to die because
Gosh, the nervous is
it's
like
humiliating to expose yourself is so humiliating. And humiliation is the fear of death because you're like, there is no afterward. Who will I be? Who will I be if I let people know that I need love? Who will I be if I ask for it and I don't get it? I can't take that. I can't suffer through that again. And that's why it is so important to start with yourself, like building the internal framework, because then you can start to, I always say, start small. And some people want to bench press 350 pounds. They want to start there. No, my thing is start with a 2-pound weight. Starting small and building up the confidence because we don't have any evidence. We have no evidence.
What was your first step in cultivating that loving relationship with yourself?
So, because I'm somewhat, I feel like an extremist, for me, this work started. So I am a sexual assault survivor. I was violently raped when I was a teenager, when I was 17. And when I was 40, I realized it was still a secret. I had told a couple of people, but in my mind, I didn't even realize I thought it was my fault. I thought maybe I was making it up. And if people heard what happened to me, that they would think that it was my fault also. So from 17 to 40. Now my son was already like 7 or 8. Like I'm still living with this. I'm living with my mother because I can't keep a job. My finances are off. I'm still like a teenager. My development was arrested at 17. My emotional and developmental, space, it stopped there. So even though I was 40, I saw the world through a 17-year-old lens. And so there was a disconnect there. And I remember asking myself, like, what else can I do? Like, I'm doing everything I can, like in life. Why is my life not working? And I heard the voice and it was like, because you need to talk about it. You need to tell people. And I was like, oh, fuck. Not that. But some part of me knew I was misaligned in my perspective of that experience. And I was already trying to be a coach in other areas in business coaching. And I was already creating content. And I was working with a media coach. I was already creating videos. So I sat in my mother's living room and I pressed record on my phone. And I recorded a 7-minute video of that experience, of what happened to me. And then I watched it back. And that was the first time I saw my innocence. When I saw it, I was like, girl, how you couldn't have known any better. Like, you couldn't have known any better. But it was the first time. And I had to see me talking back. Like, I was like, girl, if somebody else would have said that would happen, you would never have thought it was their fault. Like, it's crazy to think that you thought this was your fault. So that was a big piece. And then I know that you only kill shame through sharing. I learned that from Brene Brown. So I posted the video to YouTube.
Oh, you went bad and bold.
And then I shut the computer off and I cried for like an hour. And I was like, I'm going to post it to Facebook.
The courage.
Because I needed to get it off of me. You understand? Like, this monkey was on my back so fucking hard every day. I mean, I didn't even know, because I had been living with it, but the abandonment I felt through the rape was the same abandonment I had lived with my whole life. And I think that's why it was easy for me not to say anything, because it was just kind of a continuation of the reality that I was alone and I'm broken and that everything is my fault. So this kind of is normal. And I posted it on Facebook, and my Facebook had a lot of childhood friends and family. Because I was like, we're going to tell everybody at one time. I don't have time to go back. I don't want anybody to say it's a secret. It's not a secret anymore.
No.
And the outpouring of love and support blew my mind. No one thought it was my fault. I couldn't believe it. Like, I had to challenge my belief in that way, because otherwise there was no way I could believe that I had an erroneous thought process. And I even had a friend from high school who was like, if I would have known, I would have been there for you. And so it was like, to think I went through all of that by myself unnecessarily. There would have, just because my mother wouldn't have been, didn't mean that others wouldn't show up for me. And I needed concrete evidence that I could never turn back. I needed to stretch it. I need to break it so I could start to build something new. And that was the turning point for me. Now, things got worse before they got better. After that, I became homeless. You know what I mean? Me and my son were in a shelter. It's so much stuff happened, but there was this, I could breathe though. I could breathe. And from there, I haven't stopped. Like, it's been like, it hasn't been a straight line. It's been a rocket, but it's been like that. But that is what changed it for me, because I was like, I needed to give myself something. I need to give myself at least the opportunity to be loved. But I knew it could only happen if you saw me. And I was the person preventing people from seeing me. And that's where it all started.
It's cozy season, and nothing compares to wrapping yourself in a Minky Couture blanket. Luxuriously soft, perfectly warm, thoughtfully made. From movie nights to chilly mornings, Minky Couture turns everyday moments into pure comfort. Once you feel it, you'll understand why it's called the original best blanket ever. Visit minkycouture.com or a store near you and make this cozy season your softest one yet.
Imagine an Olympics where doping is not only legal, but encouraged. It's the enhanced games. Some call it grotesque, others say it's unleashing human potential. Either way, the podcast Superhuman documented it all, embedded in the games and with the athletes for a full year.
Within probably 10 days, I'd put on 10 pounds. I was having trouble stopping the muscle growth.
Listen to Superhuman on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
There's 2 golden rules that any man should live by. Rule 1, never mess with a country girl. You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. And rule 2, never mess with her friends either.
We always say that. Trust your girlfriends.
I'm Anna Sinfield, and in this new season of The Girlfriends...
Oh my God, this is the same man.
A group of women discover they've all dated the same prolific con artist.
I felt like I got hit by a truck. I thought, how could this happen to me?
The cops didn't seem to care, so they take matters into their own hands.
I said, oh, hell no. I vowed I will be his last target.
He's gonna get what he deserves.
Listen to The Girlfriends, Trust Me Babe, on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say. Yep, that's me, Clifford Taylor IV. You might have seen the skits, the reactions, my journey from basketball to college football, or my career in sports media. Well, somewhere along the way, this platform became bigger than I ever imagined. And now I'm bringing all of that excitement to my brand new podcast, The Clifford Show. This is a place for raw, unfiltered conversations with some of your favorite athletes, creators, and voices that not only deserve to be heard, but celebrated. One week, I'll take you behind the scenes of the biggest moments in sports and entertainment. And the next, we'll talk about life, mental health, purpose, and even music. The Clifford Show isn't just a podcast. It's a space for honest conversations, stories that don't always get told, and for people who are chasing something bigger. So, if you've ever supported me or you're just chasing down a dream, this is right where you need to be. Listen to The Clifford Show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And for more behind the scenes, follow @Clifford and at TikTok Podcast Network on TikTok.
I just think this is so powerful because the amount of people who hold their suffering and their trauma and they hold on to it so tightly that they can't breathe. They're not liberated. They're not in freedom. They walk in the shadow of themselves. They live life in the shadow of themselves. They never get to fully awake or self-actualize or become because of the stories that they've told themselves. No one would love me after this. But there is so much power in sharing because one, what I think is what you did was part of what we do in therapy is actually listening to yourself, listening to that part of yourself, listening to that innocent part of yourself and hearing it for what it is. We need to stop normalizing what hurt us. We create, we rationalize, we tell ourselves stories. Just because it's explainable does not mean it's excusable.
Ooh. Just because it's explainable doesn't mean it's excusable. But I think that's hard for us because the inexcusable has been explained away. Yeah. For everything. Yeah. For everything. Like there's always a reason why we're not loved. There's always a reason why we're in trouble. There's always a reason that we were given we couldn't be trusted. Even though it was inexcusable behavior, we had the person, the authority in our life telling us why this should happen, why you shouldn't be loved. And so it trained us that the inexcusable can be explained away.
Yeah.
You know?
And it robs you of your true emotional experience. because then you're taught to rationalize everything.
Right. But you're rationalizing from a broken perspective.
This is the thing. The assumption that you've started off with is already broken to begin with.
That's what it's so funny. Things my mother taught me that have helped me heal, even though she was a perpetrator, that she used to say, you're starting with a faulty premise. And she was well educated now. That girl went to that school now. But she would be like, you have a faulty premise. When you have a faulty premise, everything after that is going to be off. And I'm like, oh, so this work is about correcting the premise.
Yes, what you're even beginning with, what you're even starting, the assumptions that you're starting with. Where did they even come from?
Right.
Have they come from a whole place?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Have they come from a loving place?
But I think we disregard that. We don't say, did it come from a whole place or did it come from a loving place? It came from the person I love the most. And that becomes the only guide. Like, this is the person I love the most. So there must be validity in that. And we don't even challenge anything outside of maternal care. Critical thinking, all paused. It's the same way I feel like how we look at religion. It's like,
110%. 110. That's what I'm saying. In the Black space, the mother is the matriarch head. Mm-hmm. And that is obviously systemic in its nature.
She's the Madonna.
And she is the Madonna. And at the end of the day, if the father, for whatever reason, isn't present physically or emotionally, she is the one that stayed. So if she's the one that stayed, she is the savior. So now everything that she says, we almost filter through the lens. Well, she is the savior. She is the one that I'm still depending on and relying on. She's the one that has given me a roof over my head. So she can insult you. She can belittle you. She can berate you. She can actually harm you psychologically. But you still have to fall into that default of, well, she is the savior.
And because we think, even with all of that, she can rescue me.
Yes.
With her love, with her approval, she can rescue me from this darkness, from this loneliness. So we keep waiting for her, we want that from her, and we think her alone can give us that. And we're taught that she will.
And I think there is an element of, we have to accept that there is an element of training, because the mother who is yet to self-actualize or become emotionally mature, she will use psychological control and autonomy suppression to make you dependent on her. So you live life, even though you've seen that she is slightly emotionally unstable, she can be very difficult. Like she struggles to regulate. She really isn't kind to you. That guilt is used as a leash. After everything I sacrificed for you, after everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me. Everything that I've gone through, I've tried to give you the best life. This is how you repay me. So your internal world and your inner critic, which is the voice of the mother, is always playing that. Is always playing that narrative. So when the parentified child is now an adult and still has the opportunity to leave, they still can't leave. They still can't leave. You think you know better than me? Girl, this world is going to chew you up. And so you go out into the world thinking that, oh my gosh, I'm naive. I'm incapable.
I don't make good decisions.
I don't make good decisions.
I'm indecisive. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I have no clue what I'm talking about.
But on the other side, we got 3 PhDs, 2 houses, a manager a child, everybody coming to us asking us for answers. That's the place we live in, though. It's like I feel completely inadequate, but my performance is I'm high performing. And that living in that conflict is maddening. It is beyond exhausting because your brain can never rest because it's like boop, 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 every time, all the time.
Your life is a group project and your mother is the CEO.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother is the CEO. She has the final say. You're waiting for, I am proud of you. You're waiting. I'm talking with my client work. Even when the parentified child who's now an adult has their own children, they are waiting to see, will my mother show up differently for my children?
Oh, that one. They be having them babies just to see if their mama will get right. I thought my mother would get right. I thought she would, but I learned very quickly she wasn't. And I was like, my child don't even need to be around you. We're not doing this.
No.
We're not doing this. It's not even worth it. Ma'am, you got it. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna leave you alone.
There is no change in behavior. What there is changing is just that we have greater hope.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, we find new opportunities to have our hope realized.
Yeah. But because our identity is completely tied to how she sees us. So that's the other piece. It's like, how do I exist? I only exist because she says so. That's what makes her the savior too. My existence is only because of her. So one, that creates this indebtedness to her, right?
Yeah.
And this emotional umbilical cord of my sustenance. She is my life force.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to clip that and know that you can survive.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I feel like I'm a believer in like ripping of the Band-Aid. Like you need evidence. You need hard evidence because you need to be stacking that evidence because one time is not going to be enough.
Oh no. And that's why when people come to therapy and there is a severe mother wound, they're like, oh, can I just have 2-3 sessions? I said, we're not going to achieve a thing.
Nothing.
There's nothing that can be achieved. The layers, the complexity, the nuance of this wound.
Yes. It took decades to get here. Please. Okay. I'm about to have a tangent and go off. The fact that people have, I call it Sanka. In America, Sanka is an instant coffee. It's like how they want this instant relief. Well, I talked about it one time. I watched the podcast. I follow you on Instagram. Why haven't things changed? How long? If you knew how often I get asked, how long is it going to take? My thing is, what else do you have? What else are you going to do with your time? There's nothing else for you to do with your life but get this together. Because if not, your life ain't going to be worth 2 cents.
No. You know, they come in and it's like, oh, I don't want to open these can of worms. The problem is that there's worms in the can and you are the can.
The worms are eating at you, ma'am.
And they're robbing you of the quality of the life that you deserve. They're robbing you of the quality relationships that are out there for you. It's robbing you.
But I think that also the knowledge of what you've already lost, you don't want to know that. You don't know. I'm 51. The grief and the regret for knowing like how much of my life wasn't mine, that I do not get it back. My 20s, my 30s, I couldn't do anything in my childhood, but my 20s and my 30s, even into my 40s, like, oh my God, the way I look back now and I'm like, you won't get that time back and what you could have done with it, what life you could have built. And that is hard to swallow, the grief of that regret and that it came at the hands of your mother so consistently. The consistency of which it happened.
It's this is such a valid point because I've been processing this a lot. The grief, the grief, the grief, the grief. The interesting thing is when it's not processed, it becomes your anchoring bias for how you do life going forward.
Anchoring bias.
And I say that because when we think about generational trauma, that grief, when it's not fully processed, we put the expectations of our fail time onto our children. So now you're going to become everything that I couldn't become.
But not too much. That's because of the thing. I want you to become everything I wasn't, but hold on. You can't be smarter than me though. I still have to be the boss. I want you to go further than I did, do better than I did, but I want you to remember, I still am the source of truth.
So you're doing the same thing. We're doing the same thing. Everything that we would say when you are in your room and you're grieving and you're so saddened by what was lost, and you say, "Oh my gosh, I don't want my children to experience this. I really don't want my children to go through this experience." But you go on to do the exact same thing.
Yes. Instead of raising our children with a greater capacity.
Yes.
You know, that is really my goal as a mother. It's like, I know there will be heartbreak. I know I'm probably the culprit because I've learned while on the job. I didn't know any of this before. So you are catching me unqualified, you know, but it's like, I still want to build the capacity for my son to even be okay being angry at me. I want him to know, oh, I can love her, but she fucked up. And I can be angry with her and hold her accountable. I want to build that capacity in him because I know then it will shape his other relationships. To me, that is what's so important. Like that's how if you can just change that thing, it will change the lineage of the trauma. Mm-hmm. And it will transmute it into something else.
Most certainly. But that comes down to you actually doing the work yourself. So when people don't want to go there, well, somebody on the other side will have to for you. And they will bear the pain that you promised that you didn't want to pass on.
Yes. I love this conversation so much. I love this so much. Okay. Next question. I grew up saying my mother was very protective, right? That was always what I said. Oh, she was just very protective. Even though I didn't like it, that was the term I used. But now I realize that she wasn't protective. She was controlling. And it's a very blurry line with a caretaker in that role, right? At what point does it go from being protection to being control?
It's so interesting because I think a lot of women who have experienced the mother wound, they over-identify with adultification, but not so much with infantilization. And the both are used hand in hand as tools of control. So as we mentioned earlier, adultification is when you place adult responsibilities on a child who does not have the developmental capacity. But infantilization is the process of treating someone less capable, less mature, or dependent, or making them more dependent on you than they actually really need to be. And that transition occurs when the child becomes an adult as a way to maintain your control as a parent over them. So in the early years, adultification is the tool, but as the child adults, infantilization is the tool. And one of the mechanisms is this idea of being protective and protecting them so that the parent has some authority, because now the child feels like, oh, you are the carer, you are looking after me, you just have an eye out for me before I go out into this big world, and you've been
You
here
have good
before.
intentions.
You have good intentions.
You don't mean me any harm.
No, of course not. But the point in which I'm just protecting you becomes control is when your autonomy is no longer being developed, it's actually being restricted. You're not able to think for yourself. You're not able to go out into the world and take the necessary risks. You are almost being you're being prevented to fully actualize in life.
You know what? And I feel like in the Black community, that infantilization, if I'm saying that correctly, is coupled with being respectful.
Oh
that
gosh.
is how that is weaved into the culture of in the Black community. Whether it's parent to child, it's really this thing of I'm older than you. You are a child, I'm an adult. Even if I'm 50 and you're 70, I'm a child and you're an adult. You know, it's like a reverse Uno card that you always throw down and say, no, that's the big joker. Beats everything. But that is how it gets weaved in, because if a child disagrees or, God forbid, has their own perspective and opinion, that is not the opinion of the house, it is disrespectful. So to infantilize yourself is to be respectful. To change your tone, to be demure, and to be in a position of submissiveness to the authority. That shit pisses me off big time, because it's a lie.
It's a complete and utter lie, because fundamentally respect is earned.
Yes. And it's deserved regardless of your age. In the Black community, you only deserve respect if you're the oldest person. Because if I'm 50 and you're 10 or 20, I should be respected. But I can turn from being 50 and you being 70, and now the dynamic has changed. And I think that is what is so convoluted, and everybody's scraping for the power. That's what everybody's doing. And mothers, Black women, because they have the least amount of authority in their life, when they become mothers, that is the way they can scrape for power. This is a way I can have power over this child, because they've been so powerless their whole life. And then it becomes an abuse of power. And that cycle just keeps being passed down.
The way that I even see it is sometimes you will have a mother that will be, there's over directive life planning. Like they've literally planned every single detail. Oh no, you're not gonna be friends with this person. Oh, this is where you're going to school. This is what you're doing. This is
what you're wearing. This is how you're gonna do your hair.
This is how you're gonna do your hair. Everything. Just over directed.
And that's fear-based. It is a mother who is terrified. She is so terrified of that child going out in the world and, one, making her look bad, because this is her only thing in life that she can say I did right, because she hasn't been seen or acknowledged either. Right?
No.
And the fear that she has always lived with. So it's like, if this daughter goes out and what happens to her happened to me, it's going to bring all my shit to the surface too. And I can't process my own pain.
And this is the thing. Sometimes the mother does not see the daughter as separate. So when you even explore in research, the treatment of the son and the treatment of the daughter is different, because actually she can physically see, oh, he's a different person to me. With the daughter, you are an extension of her. She can't see you as separate. And so every shame that she holds within, she also sees in you. Everything that she dislikes about herself, she also sees in you.
And if the thing that she doesn't like about herself and you do like it about yourself, she is pissed because you cannot like that about yourself because you're showing me my own deficit, because you're showing me you have a power that I don't have. And that is also where jealousy creeps in.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
That's where
goodness.
jealousy creeps in, where it's like the thing I can't accept about myself, you've accepted about yourself and embraced it. And now I feel stupid. You're making me feel dumb. And I'm going to punish you for that.
Most certainly. Because I don't want to see myself.
Yes.
So they use you as the mirror. Every shortcoming you have to redeem. You are the redemption plan. You have to redeem. If I didn't go to college, you have to do this. You have to do that because you are my redemption plan.
Right. Yeah. Or the opposite, which is a lot of how I lived, was if I didn't do it, you can't do it.
Yeah.
How could you do something I couldn't do? You don't know what I know. You can't.
I don't have space. I don't have space. I don't have that kind of space for you.
Yeah, because and I can't guide you. If you go someplace I haven't been, how can I help you?
Yeah. So now there's loss of control.
So if I don't have a man, I can help you in not having a man. But then if you get a man, I have no usefulness. The mother needs to feel useful to the daughter, because remember, that's what how she's been raised, to have connection. Yeah. If my daughter needs me, she won't leave me. This is the only person that I could possibly have who won't leave me. Not realizing everything you're doing is running her off.
Yeah. Those situations so common. It's either there's the superimposition, like she's superimposing all her ambitions onto you, or she's stripping you of all of yours.
She superimposes her failures on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. I can see that. Oh, that's a whole topic. Okay. Yes. But this leads us into the next piece. What is it that makes a mother feel threatened when her daughter is growing up, becoming her own person, finding her own independence and authority? Like, where does that thing that the mother does, like what's happening to the mother when she's feel threatened that she has raised someone to be a good daughter? They turn out to be that, and now she's mad. What is that about?
From a psychodynamic lens, the daughter's growth or separation from the mother, when she is individuating, when she is taking up space, the mother is truly becoming very, very fearful at this point. She's becoming very, very worried. She needs her daughter to be complicit to everything that she had in mind for her daughter. So when she sees that her daughter has the freedom to think outside of her instructions, outside of her advice, she's panicking, because for many Black mothers, they have no sense of self outside of the idea of being wife or mother. They had no hobbies. They had no relationships that were fully nurturing within their community. And the community didn't really celebrate, oh, you are a businesswoman, you are doing great things. If you are a mother and if you are a wife, you have accomplished everything in life. And so for her, this is her validation piece. And if the daughter now finds herself and individuates and loses hold, what does she have to offer to society? What does she have to offer in her community? What does she have to offer? They haven't taken the time to really think outside of the role of mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you now create your own space, you now find your own identity, she doesn't want to engage with that grief. So that's where the holding back takes place. That's when the fear of your disconnection takes place. Because really and truly, a lot of their sons will go off and live their best life.
Best life. And
so she's relying on you for your
men. I meet men and they're like, oh yeah, my sister and my mother, they just be going at it. And I just don't understand. I don't know what's going on. What, because she need to listen to mama and she need to stop acting like that. And I don't know why they be going back and forth. I don't know what's wrong with women. And it's like, you are so clueless because you all didn't get the same mother. And then when I break it down, it's like, it's like, my mother did that to my sister. Oh, it is amazing how you could see something all your life, but never see it. Then somebody pointed out to you and you like, oh, but even still then, oftentimes the men are like, well, I still don't want to get involved. I don't want to pick a side. You know,
they don't want to disrupt the status
quo. Because they're at the top of the totem pole. That same woman, it was a benefit to him, Yeah. So absolutely. Yes. Okay. Here's the next one. How is guilt used as a weapon? I think this folds in so well. How is guilt used as a weapon by emotionally immature mothers toward their daughters? And how does it shape the choices daughters make in their lives as they grow up? How does that guilt shape us?
Yeah, we've touched on this, but in Black family systems as a whole, when we look at guilt, it's not just emotional, it's embedded in the cultural, the historical, the survival-based nature in which in which it exists. So often shows up as, oh, you've changed. Remember, family comes first, After all I've done for you.
I've always been there.
And I will always be there. It's rooted in that intergenerational resilience where sacrifice, where loyalty, where, that collectivistic, we've all gone through this together and we've made it together comes in. And they want you to stick with that program. They don't want you to break from that. They don't want you to break from that program. They want you to remain tied because with guilt comes obligatory loyalty.
The guilt creates a sense of responsibility.
Yes.
For how she feels.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So now that is the tie of, okay, this is how I'm gonna get you guys to remain on board with me, because she hasn't built relationship. She's built a dynamic on obligation and responsibility
as control.
So our allegiance to the child's allegiance to the mother is built out of duty.
Is that also, because to me, then that makes me feel like a lack of boundaries is rooted in guilt.
Oh, most certainly.
That's where that's rooted. When you don't have boundaries, guilt is the thing that's pulling your chain.
Yes. And you feel uncomfortable with engaging with that guilt. Bearing in mind, the guilt isn't yours to hold. You were taught to engage with that guilt. But now every single time she asks or she makes a request, you're taken back to that guilt. And so you then self-sacrifice and self-abandon to meet that need. And so when you show how it shows up going forward is that you grow up in the world always feeling like even despite what I've gone through, I need to show up for my mother. Despite what she's going to put me through, I need to show up for my mother.
Because I need to prove I'm a good person.
I need to prove I am a good person.
This is the number one way. The number one way a Black woman can, beyond a shadow of a doubt, without reproach, show that she's a good person is that she does what her mama says. Anything else, nobody can say anything. But if you can ride through life, I went and picked my mama up. I did what she said. I want her to show I'm a good person.
And it's the place in which you probably get the most affirmation from a mother who compliments you very minimally.
Right. Yes. You get a surface level affirmation.
Yeah, surface level, and it's usually in front of people. Yep. So it's never going to be just you. She's never going to express that. Oh, I appreciate. But in front, my daughter listens to me when she's in front of people.
Yeah.
And so again, we're holding on for crumbs of hope that she loves us. And you take that and you make it a full-on bread.
Right.
And you hold on to it. You
becomes your personality.
It becomes your personality.
It becomes how you walk through the world, how you pick, how you dress, the men you date, how you raise your children, what you eat, where you work, where you live, like literally. That's why I'm saying, I always say the mother wound impacts every area of your life because you're trying to prove that you are worth loving. It is your mission.
And the difficulty is you no longer really understand who you are because you're constantly on a journey of performing. So when you think about the authentic self, you're always second guessing. Am I really doing this because I want to, or am I doing this because I am seeking the approval of my mother?
Right. Which then you want the approval of everyone then. Because you think that's the goal. It's like, oh, that's your model, seek approval. So now you're doing it in all different areas of your life. Even if you might not think you're doing it with your mother anymore, you are taking that same programming out into the world.
Yeah, because we don't just inherit families, we inherit ways of relating. So the framework that you've learned, you apply across the board.
Yes, absolutely. That is what happens.
It's sad because the nervous system registers all of this. And so you feel so uncomfortable actually shifting outside of this norm of seeking approval. That reward system is so strong.
Yes.
So inbuilt within you. One of the things that I invite my clients to do is to sit with the discomfort of disappointing people.
Please sit and soothe. I can't tell you that you won't feel guilty, but I can tell you that you aren't guilty. So you might not want to avoid the feeling of guilt. You can't, because that is a part of the muscle building process.
Yeah.
So what you have to have is a framework for how you soothe yourself while you're in that.
Yeah.
Because you need evidence that you're not going to die. Oh, I didn't die. I didn't crumble. Everybody doesn't think I'm a horrible person. I didn't become what she said I would become when I advocated for myself. Oh, wow. It's hard. Literally, I've had to chain myself down. Like, do not pick up the phone. Do not apologize. Do not renege on yourself. Just sit with it. Go for a walk, watch a movie, take a nap, mop the floor, do something to let it rest.
Yes. I invite them to do a lot of breath work, just finding a way to help remind yourself in the present that you are safe.
Yes.
You are safe. You're not going to die. But because it genuinely feels like that. Because our attachment to the person that we depend on as a child generally affects our livelihood. So our survival-based system registers that. And as a result, we do think that if we disappoint our mother, we can actually lose the connectivity that we need to live. So it's very real. Like the feeling is very real. But like you said, it's a pattern of retraining your nervous system to understand that, wait, as an adult right now, I get to choose my environment and the kind of peace I want to cultivate. Have I even assessed my capacity before saying yes, before agreeing to things? I've just said yes with automatically. I haven't taken the time to think, look at my day, look at what emotional space I have. You've just signed on to something. And the resentment that it builds, because you're always left with a lack of appreciation because it was your responsibility anyway.
It's like you get no points.
Yeah. So the approval that you're seeking never truly comes. So you're left wanting again, and you're on the uphill battle for love.
Yes.
Imagine an Olympics where doping is not only legal, but encouraged. It's the enhanced games. Some call it grotesque. Others say it's unleashing human potential. Either way, the podcast Superhuman documented it all, embedded in the games and with the athletes for a full year.
Within probably 10 days, I'd put on 10 pounds. I was having trouble stopping the muscle growth.
Listen to Superhuman on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
There's 2 golden rules that any man should live by. Rule 1, never mess with a country girl. You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. And rule 2, never mess with her friends either.
We always say that. Trust your girlfriends.
I'm Anna Sinfield, and in this new season of The Girlfriends...
Oh my God, this is the same man.
A group of women discover they've all dated the same prolific con artist.
I felt like I got hit by a truck. I thought, how could this happen to me?
The cops didn't seem to care, so they take matters into their own hands.
I said, oh, hell no. I vowed I will be his last target.
He's gonna get what he deserves.
Listen to The Girlfriends, Trust Me Babe, on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say. Yep, that's me, Clifford Taylor IV. You might have seen the skits, the reactions, my journey from basketball to college football, or my career in sports media. Well, somewhere along the way, this platform became bigger than I ever imagined. And now I'm bringing all of that excitement to my brand new podcast, The Clifford Show. This is a place for raw, unfiltered conversations with some of your favorite athletes, creators, and voices that not only deserve to be heard, but celebrated. One week, I'll take you behind the scenes of the biggest moments in sports and entertainment. And the next, we'll talk about life, mental health, purpose, and even music. The Clifford Show isn't just a podcast. It's a space for honest conversations, stories that don't always get told, and for people who are chasing something bigger. So, if you've ever supported me, or you're just chasing down a dream, this is right where you need to be. Listen to The Clifford Show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And for more behind the scenes, follow @Clifford and at TikTok Podcast Network on TikTok.
Do you remember when Diana Ross double-tapped Lil' Kim's boobs at the VMAs? Or when Kanye said that George Bush didn't like black people? I know what you're thinking. What the hell does George Bush got to do with Lil' Kim? Yeah. Well, you can find out on the Look Back at It podcast. I'm Sam J.
And I'm Alex English.
Each episode, we pick a year, unpack what went down, and try to make sense of how we survived it.
Including a recent episode with Mark Lamont Hill, waxing all about crack in the 80s.
To be clear, 84 is big to me, not just because of crack. I'm down to talk about crack all day, but
yeah.
But just so y'all know.
I mean, at this point, Mark, this is the second episode where we've discussed crack, so I'm starting to see that there's a through line.
We also have AIDS on the table right now, so...
Thank you for finishing that sentence. And yes, I don't think there's a more important year for black people.
Really?
Yeah, for me, it's one of the most important years for black people in American history.
Listen to Look Back at It on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, so this is my final question I have for you. I love this
Yeah.
conversation. What if a woman wants to keep the connection with their mother, right? Because there's some of us, well, I wouldn't say me and my mother, we're no contact, but there are a lot of women in this community who are actively healing their mother wound, but also still in relationship with their mother. And they want to
Yes.
keep the relationship with their mother, right? But they know that they can only have her when they comply. They know that that's it. So how do you manage that? How do you manage not going in reverse in your healing journey and trying to still keep connection with your mother, even if it is a conditional? I don't think you should want to keep a conditional connection, but you want connection. Like, can both things exist together?
Okay, both things can exist, but I will say that you're going to have to really observe your own capacity. So this is going to look different from person to person. You want to minimize your overexposure in the beginning. So she is aware that there is a boundary that is existing as a result of the relational dynamic that exists in the present. You have to ask yourself how much time you want to spend. So it's love in doses. It's love in doses with your psychological safety in mind. So I want a connection, but you have to set a standard for what that connection is going to look like. So have you found a common ground, a common place whereby you can have a certain conversation that is not going to re-trigger you? Have you found a specific place whereby you feel like your relationship with your mom or the environment doesn't lead to combative discussions? You have to think environmentally. You have to think very strategically about maintaining a connection with, particularly an emotionally immature parent, because at the end of the day, if they've proven to showcase their lack of capacity to be who you want them to be, you have to accept that. So when you're coming into any kind of connection with them, you have to come in with that in mind. I think sometimes we do this, we try to tread this water in the hopes that we are going to find a redeeming situation. I think people who are successful have radically accepted their mother for who she is. And they have then decided, actually, this is the amount of time, and these are the ways in which I can ensure my own psychological safety. And that's going to vary from person to person. So it's very nuanced. I would need context to really unpack that with a client. But I would say you have to have come to acceptance, and you have to have set the appropriate boundaries based on your standards.
It sounds like you're saying that you have to prioritize yourself.
Yes.
Like, when it comes down to it, you're going to have to choose you over her.
Yes.
And there's a level of disappointing her in that. Like, you cannot go through and compartmentalize your healing over here and then come into relationship with your mother and fall back into the dynamic.
Yeah.
And it's also not your job to try and therapize her, change her, and like keep seeding, because that it actually is manipulative, because everything that you're doing is so you can get what you want from her, which is what she's been doing to you. So I love how you speak to, you have to observe, and to have real observance, you have to start with the right premise to be able to say, oh, this is the reality of this situation. And then from there, this is what I need. These are the boundaries, because this is my capacity. And I think, go ahead.
And choosing your regulation over reaction, because unfortunately, particularly if you have a parent that engages in recreational arguing, So their only way of speaking to you is through finding the negative, nitpicking. You automatically default into a pattern of behavior that you're so familiar with. So you have to exercise self responsibility and be aware of your internal state and take ownership around how you're going to respond. Choosing behaviors and words that align with your values so you don't fall into the trap. Because sometimes there is bait. There is bait, and you take it, and by the time you've left the environment, you're so emotionally drained that it was not worth being around it. So when I say regulation over reaction, what I'm speaking to is you are responding from a place of self-trust. You're not reacting impulsively when she wants to do the shouting or the withdrawing. You're not going there with her. You interrupt the inherited patterns and you showcase that you're doing something different here. Because that also, because you have changed, it changes the dynamic. So I love what you said, Jennifer, about, okay, this isn't about trying to control how she's going to be. It's about managing your own self.
Yes. And this is why I always talk about how community is a pillar in healing, because you need to know that there's somewhere else you can go to get that love. Because if you don't, when you don't get it from her, it's going to crush you, because you won't have anything to fall back on. And you feel like that abandoned child, that orphan in the middle of the street alone, you know. But when you have built the support system within yourself, but you have to have others, somebody pouring into you before that engagement and even after, to let you know, oh, that is not the truth. That is just one experience. I think that's super important, because do not go into this raw dogging it. Even having a therapist is not enough, because you only see her once a week. You need a community. You don't need a lot of people, but you need a couple solid people that can rub your back, that can say, girl, let's go out to lunch. We ain't even got to talk about it. We talk about some other stuff. But to remind you that you still exist wholly, even if she sees you differently. I think that you have to be doing, you know, it's a 5-finger method. It's really a 10-finger method. There's so many pieces that go into that. So I love that. And when you talk about not changing her, one person changing changes the dynamic.
Yes.
There's a book I talk about a lot. It's called The Dance of Anger. And there's one that she wrote for, I think there's one she wrote for mothers too, but it talks about a relationship as a dance, and everybody knows the steps. And all it takes is for one person to change the steps of the dance. And the other person has two choices. They can adjust and learn the new dance, or they can step off the dance floor and make room for someone else to come in that knows the dance. And that's our job. Our job is just to learn the dance and see who can come dance with us. Not to make them and say, well, if they're not going to dance, I'm not going to dance either. Or we're going to do this dance, but I come away and she stepped on my feet.
You set the tone. You set the tone. You create the environment that you want to inhabit. Stop allowing for your mother to dictate your environment. And so the community that you possess are actually a representation of your own ecosystem. These are the people that reflect your values. These are the people that reflect the kind of love that you want. These are the people that dream big. These are the people that want more for you, that they have so much belief in you. That's you creating a tribe that reflects your own values. So I truly, truly agree. You have to, particularly with encounters with a mother that you, particularly when you want to have some kind of connection, you need to tap into your network.
Yes, absolutely. I've loved this conversation, Dorcas. I'm so glad you came to hang out with me
It's a
today.
pleasure. It's such a
I
pleasure.
know. I have a new buddy now. I'm gonna start. Look, you'll know we're tight when I start sending you memes on Instagram. Okay.
Oh wow.
So tell everybody, where they can find you and how you can stay connected with them.
Yeah. So at the moment, I am producing content on socials. So Dorcas Asuming Opoku. So that's at Dorcas Asuming Opoku. And also on my email. People email me all the time, which is dorcasassumingopoku@gmail.com.
Yep. Awesome. And I'll have those links in the show notes so y'all can have those there so you can see them. Thank you so much for this. This was so good. I'm used to having these conversations by myself, and I really love this new thing of having guests on and getting that other perspective and the vibe. I love it so much. So thank you for, sharing with us. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. And I just want to say once again, thank you for creating this space. I find that I work with so many clients, and they genuinely feel like they're so alone in this experience. I'm like, no, there's several people who are struggling with
We
this.
out here.
And so the fact that you have taken the initiative to just put this space together so that people can learn, people can feel like they have opportunities for growth outside of this. It's just amazing. And I just want you to continue your work.
Thank you. I need that because sometimes I be tired, but thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for listening or watching if you're on YouTube. I appreciate y'all. Keep doing this work. Keep tapping in. I'll see you next week. You already know, don't let nobody play in your face. I love you. See you later. Bye. The Black Mother Wound Podcast is a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network.
This is Dr. Lori Santos from the Happiness Lab. This weekend, I'm having friends over for a dinner party, and I'll be serving my famous white bean escarole chicken sausage. And of course, I'll be using Dietz & Watson Italian chicken sausage. Their sausage is always perfect for guests because it has no nitrates added, it's gluten-free, and it's just delicious. Visit dietzandwatson.com/therightway to learn more about the Dietz difference.
Imagine an Olympics where doping is not only legal, but encouraged. It's the enhanced games. Some call it grotesque. Others say it's unleashing human potential. Either way, the podcast Superhuman documented it all, embedded in the games and with the athletes for a full year.
Within probably 10 days, I'd put on 10 pounds. I was having trouble stopping the muscle growth.
Listen to Superhuman on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
On the Look Back at It podcast. In 1979, that was a big moment for me.
84 was big to me.
I'm Sam J.
And I'm Alex English.
Each episode, we pick a year, unpack what went down, and try to make sense of how we survived it with our friends, fellow comedians, and favorite authors. Like Mark Lamont Hill on the 80s.
84 was a wild, it was a
wild year.
I don't think there's a more important year for Black people.
Listen to Look Back at It on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
In 2023, Bachelor star Clayton Echard was accused of fathering twins, but the pregnancy appeared to be a hoax.
You doctored this particular test twice, Ms. Owens, correct?
I doctored the test once.
It took an army of internet detectives to uncover a disturbing pattern. Two more men who'd been through the same thing.
Greg Gillespie and Michael Mancini.
My mind was blown.
I'm Stephanie Young. This is Love Trapped.
Laura, Scottsdale Police.
As the season continues, Laura Owens finally faces consequences. Listen to Love Trapped podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.